Are we live? Hang on a second. Are we live? Wait, what's going on? Are we live? Hang on. Somebody, please inform me. Are we live? Hang on a second. What's going on? Is there another Mandalorian episode tomorrow? A Bad Batch episode? Hang on. Are we about to go crazy predicting all this stuff? Hang on a second. Hang on one quick second. Are we live? Ho. Hang on. Hang on. What is up, Star Wars fans? It is Mike, a guy who loves Star Wars, and today we are predicting The Mandalorian, The Bad Batch, talking about Star Wars news, talking about a bunch of fun stuff, talking about all of it, okay? We're talking about all of it. It's going to be a very, very fun stream tonight. So let's get extremely excited because The Mandalorian and The Bad Batch come out tomorrow, and of course, we've gone 2 straight weeks with straight fire episodes, okay? So, by the way, tell me if my audio is fine. I'm doing this brand new thing with the audio. We got some new settings on the audio. Just tell me what you guys think about the audio while you guys come in, okay? Because we can switch it up if we need to. Go back to the old if we have to. So, we got a lot to talk about tonight. Of course, The Bad Batch and The Mandalorian, new episodes tomorrow. But there are a lot of other news going around in the Star Wars realm. We got a lot of things to talk about regarding Star Wars news in general. Just Star Wars news in general, you know? We got a lot to talk about. So without further ado, what should we start with? The Bad Batch? Should we start with The Bad Batch? Before we start with anything, smash that gosh darn like button. Oh my goodness, what have you been doing this entire time? You've been watching this stream for 1 minute and 31 seconds or whatever, or 1 minute 49 seconds. You haven't smashed the like button? It's okay. Just smash that like button. Okay. And we're going to start with The Bad Batch. Of course, we'll start with The Bad Batch. The Bad Batch. We're going to start with The Bad Batch. Okay. So, of course, drop any predictions that you guys have about The Bad Batch, episode 13 in the chat as we go on. We'll cover all of it and we'll get into all that stuff. But first, I'll give you my predictions. And of course, if you guys are just coming in, tell me about my audio. I got some new audio stuff going on and tell me what's going on. Tell me what's going on. Because I can hear myself, but I sound fine. But maybe to you guys, I sound different. Hang on. Maybe. We will see. All right, so The Bad Batch. This is episode 13. Audio is perfect. Thanks, Badger. Okay, so episode 13. What do we think is going to happen? So let's go over the initial thoughts here. The episode is called Pabu. P-A-B-U. That is the episode name. That's the episode name of episode 13. Pabu. Okay? So as weird as that is, that's the name of the episode. So with that in mind, what do we think is going to happen in this episode? Now, I was talking about this a little bit last week, but we didn't really get too far into it. This episode is going to be called Pabu, and this is actually kind of interesting for many reasons because Pabu is such a weird name. But there was three actually, of Babu Frick's species in episode 1 of The Mandalorian. Of course, everybody knows that. It's still unclear if it's Babu or not. I don't think they are. I think it was confirmed by Lucasfilm themselves that it's not Babu and it's just Anzellans, which is his species. But they all had weird names, and they were all ooze. They were all like Kabu or Tadu or whatever. It was very close to Babu. And of course, when I saw that the name of this week's episode for The Bad Batch is Pabu, the first thing it made me think of was Babu frickin' Frick. And I mean, let's be honest, who's not constantly thinking about Babu Frick 24 hours of every single day? Am I right? But this is what we're looking at here. So this is, of course, Disney posted this at the beginning of the Bad Batch, every name for each episode. So we're coming down the stretch here. This is the end of the season. We only got 3 more weeks left before episodes because the last week will be both episodes, The Summit and Plan 99. But we're on episode 13. Episode 13 is Pabu. Okay? So my predictions for this episode go like this. I think it's time for a filler episode. I know. I get it. Nobody wants to see a filler episode. But it's not going to be a filler episode in the way that you guys think, okay? We know what happened last week. Crosshair has finally turned on the Empire. Finally. It was like this great climactic thing with with Mayday dying and all that crazy stuff. Great episode last week. But now you have Crosshair on Mount Tantus. So now we have one of the Bad Batch members on Mount Tantus, and he's being worked on by some doctors on Mount Tantus, which is kind of crazy. But Crosshair's on Mount Tantus. The rest of the Bad Batch aren't on Mount Tantus, and they don't even know that Crosshair's on Mount Tantus, which is kind of strange. And they don't know how to get to Mount Tantus, which is also kind of strange. So, but what they do know is that Zillo Beast 2 episodes ago was taken by the Empire. And they don't know where that Zillo Beast was going or what was going on. But I'm sure that they're going to go back to Sid and find out all the information they can about this. Now, here's where I think this episode is going. I think Pabu is going to be the name because it is going to involve some Anzellans, or at least one Anzellan, a Babu frickin' frick kind of Anzellan, but not Babu himself. So it's going to be a guy named Pabu. And here's what I think is going to happen. I think they're coming for Omega. So in the same way in season 1 of the Bad Batch, that Cad Bane and Fennec Shand were all coming after Omega. The coolest parts of that season were Cad Bane and other bounty hunters like Fennec Shand's first animated appearance were tracking down Omega for the Kaminoans. Now we find out that the Prime Minister of the Kaminoans tells Dr. Hemlock, the head doctor or whatever, at Mount Tantus that Nala Se, who they need to help them, Nala Se will actually help them if they get Omega. She loves Omega. She'll protect Omega with her life. Omega, they're coming for her. So if they send bounty hunters, if they just send the whole might of the frickin' Empire, I don't know what's going to happen, but it's definitely going to be the Empire coming to hunt down Omega. In some way or another, the Bad Batch are going to lose Omega, and she's going to be taken to Mount Tantus. And then, of course, it's going to lead into these last 3 episodes with Hunter, Wrecker, Tech, and they'll probably go back and get Rex and Echo if they're smart, going to Mount Tantus and trying to get Omega back, but also getting Crosshair back. And this could lead to a 3rd season. I don't know how much longer the Bad Batch are going to go. Here's my question for you guys. Do you think the Bad Batch will get a 3rd season? And do you think that all the Bad Batch members will survive this season? Because there is always the question of, could they die? Because, of course, we know that there's a very likely possibility that not all of them make it out of this show, because none of them exist in A New Hope, none of them exist in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, none of them exist in the Andor show, any of the original trilogy, any of the prequel trilogy, any of the Mandalorian stuff. The Bad Batch aren't anywhere. They aren't anywhere. So at some point, they either have to just disappear and become farmers and do nothing in the whole entire galaxy, or they all die. So could the Bad Batch end in such a dark way? This kids show, this animated kids show, would it end in them just all dying? That's my question to you guys. That's should we pull this up? Hang on. Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat here a second. What's up, Star Wars Politics? Badger says, Bad Batch finale paying homage to Clone 99. Beautiful. Yeah, so Plan 99, we've talked about this a few times on stream. The second to last episode No, the last episode is called Plan 99. And Star Wars Politics, I believe, had this crazy theory about how Plan 99 could actually be the reverse of Order 66. It's the clones all dying. It's just like a kill switch for the clones, which would be really cool. Not gonna lie. Star Wars Politics says name of planet. Oh, Pabu, you mean? Yeah, Pabu could be a name of a planet. I mean, it's not a planet we've never been to, but it could be. I just think it's way too close to Babu, and it's way too close to the other Anzellans that we saw in The Mandalorian. I just think it could probably not be. He follows up and says, for sure, a 3rd season. Crosshair will die at the end of this season. You think Crosshair? Crosshair's like almost 99% of everybody's favorite Bad Batch member, though. I don't know. That's a tough one, which is really dumb considering he is the best member. Yeah, he is the best member. Of course, he had his whole dark side trip for a while, but Crosshair, I think I mean, unless I'm crazy, Crosshair seems to be the like overwhelming favorite character for most people in the Bad Batch. But I don't know. Tell me if I'm crazy. Badger says, yes, I think there's a season 3 for sure, but for a death, a possibility of Tech. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people saying Tech is gonna die, and it does seem maybe likely just because they've spent so much time with Tech this season. I don't know. It'll be interesting. And moving forward, maybe they'll die one by one. That would just be like so sad if every single season ends with another member of the Bad Batch dying until they're all just gone. Like that would honestly, that would be sad. Like, no thanks. But yeah, I see where you're going with that. I don't know. Let's pull it up. Let's just do, will there be a third season? Will the Bad Batch have a third season? Yes or no? What do you guys think? Will the Bad Batch have a third season? Let's just start it there. Just because, like, Dave Filoni, he's credited for, like, writing and stuff on this show. He's not really doing much on this show anymore. He's really just in the background. He was working on Ahsoka. He's working on The Mandalorian. Sure, he's a producer on the stuff, but you watch every episode. It's not directed by Dave Filoni. It's like written by Dave Filoni and others. Like, Dave Filoni's not that involved in this show anymore, and maybe he will be down the stretch, with the finale coming close. But you look, it's just it's not really Dave Filoni centered. That's for sure. So I think that's where season 2 has been lacking, with the lack of Dave Filoni, because he's not been in charge per se. Star Wars Politics says, who has the best arc to die though / sacrifice? Crosshair. It would be the most emotional. It would. It very much would. But that, like, do we just want to see Crosshair die at the end of this season? Like, he is the best character. And like we just, to Badger's point, they've been focusing a lot on Tech this season, and maybe that's because he's going to be dying at the end of the season. Crosshair has only been in 2 episodes. He's been, like, the least involved member. So I don't see them killing off Crosshair anytime soon. Just because he's not been involved at all. And if they were going to give Crosshair a good ending, he would have been way more involved in this season. I see him being redeemed and coming back to the Bad Batch for possibly a third season. I just feel like Tech would be the least emotional. It wouldn't be emotional. You're right. But Crosshair's just, he's irrelevant at this point. Like, he's only been in 2 episodes. And yes, those 2 episodes were like some of the best animated Star Wars ever, but it's like, it's, you know. Bilbo in the chat, somebody tell him the tale of Darth Plagueis the Wise, please. Somebody, please. Anybody. But yeah, so I just think the Bad Batch, I think it will get a third season. Regardless of what you guys are saying, I think there will be a third season. However, whether or not that third season will involve all of the members of the Bad Batch remains to be seen. I think either Tech or maybe even Wrecker could end up dying at the end of this season, or maybe even Hunter. What if they just throw a gigantic curveball at us and Hunter just dead? Like, imagine, like, Omega, the father figure to Omega, is Hunter. Imagine he's just gone. Like, head chopped off by Anakin Skywalker. Like, Darth Vader just shows up and chops his head off. Okay, how have we not seen Inquisitors yet? Inquisitors, Darth Vader. I get it's still early Empire, but these people were around. Palpatine, we saw briefly. Where is the whole Imperial presence? That's kind of what I want to know. And do you think that we'll see those people? Vader in the finale? Imagine Vader in the finale. Imagine Vader's on Mount Tantus, okay? And I know I'm getting a little excited here. I'm getting a little too excited. But Vader's going to be in the finale, confirmed. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, Star Wars Politics says, it's a fantastic show. I think it's a fantastic show to further explore the cloning aspect of the sequel trilogy. Hold up, did he just say sequel trilogy? Everybody block your ears. Third season for Inquisitors. The Bad Batch will gain Empire's attention and trigger a more sinister threat. That's possible. See, the Inquisitors are brought in almost right away because the Palpatine keeps Vader a secret kind of for a while, and then he comes in more as like a shadowy presence, and everybody's afraid of him. Vader's kind of like a well-kept secret for a while, but the Inquisitors are almost there right away. Like they're the enforcers. They're the guys with the red lightsaber who come, and everybody's scared of them. So yeah, maybe we will see a third season have some Inquisitors in there, which would be awesome. I mean, seeing like the Grand Inquisitor, of course, but seeing like the ones that died, like the fifth brother and the sixth brother? What? I don't know. I get all my Inquisitors confused. They're all too many numbers and brothers and sisters. Badger follows up and says, only because Tech has had the most focus this season, that normally means the character will die or have a big conflict. That is just my opinion. Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. They've been spending so much time on Tech that it seems like something is building up here for that character. I completely agree with you. Crosshair being killed by Grand Inquisitor would be intense. Yeah. So if the Inquisitors in general come in and just slice and dice the Bad Batch, I would not be opposed to that. It would be sad. Yes, it would be sad. But again, they're not in anything else. So unless they're planning on like Omega showing up in a Book of Boba Fett season 2 or something because they're brother and sister, I just don't see it. I mean, the Bad Batch don't exist in the original trilogy. They don't exist in anything past this. So in some way, shape, or another, they're going to have to die. I just don't know how, and I don't know why or who. Hopefully it's like Vader comes and chops all their heads off, but that's just me. That's just me. It would be crazy. It would be absolutely crazy. Yes. Star Wars Politics says, slice and dice the Bad Batch. POV Mike's cheering. Yes, I would cheer. Honestly, if we did a watch party for the Bad Batch and Vader came in and just sliced and diced the Bad Batch up, I would give a round of applause. I would. I'm even wearing my Vader shirt today. Maybe that's why I'm all talking about Vader a lot today. Yeah, no, I'm all for that. I'm all for it. I love the Bad Batch. Don't get me wrong. These last few episodes, these last few weeks have been very, very good. But I'm perfectly okay with them all dying. I'm perfectly okay. All right, let's move on to The Mandalorian because that's what we know we came here for. That's what we know we came here for. So, of course, you saw the thumbnail, and that might give you a bit of a illusion as to what my predictions for this episode might be. Leia Organa, Coruscant, Order 66. Let's talk about some fun freaking stuff going on possibly in The Mandalorian, okay? Star Wars Politics says, why is the Bad Batch better than The Mandalorian? Okay, we're going to Pull Town. Hang on. We're going to Pull Town. We have to. We're doing it. We have to. After that comment, Star Wars Politics, we're doing it. By the way, 75% of you think there will be a season 3. Okay. Which is better? Let's see it. Mando. We're pulling it up. Bad Batch. Just to prove Star Wars Politics that he's absolutely wrong. You guys tell me what's better. All right, let's get into the Mandalorian predictions, okay? We're going on to episode 3. Now let's recap what happened in the first 2 episodes. Okay. So we finally got to Mandalore, right? We got to Mandalore. And we got Bo-Katan explaining all the Mandalorian lore. That was a lot of fun stuff. And of course, the freaking Mythosaur, okay? You can't talk about that second episode without going absolutely insane because of the freaking Mythosaur, okay? The Mythosaur. Now, where do we think it's going to go from here? Where do we go from there? It's the freaking Mythosaur, okay? Where do we go from there? Now, I have some questions for you guys. Of course, tell me what your predictions or what you guys think will happen in this next episode in the chat. But do you think that we are going back to Navarro in this next episode? Do you think we're going back to the Armorer in this next episode? Or, and here's my personal opinion, or what I really, really hope is going to happen, do you think that we could be going to Coruscant in this episode? So in the trailers for The Mandalorian Season 3, right? We've had a ton of scenes of Coruscant, of Carson Teva warning us about some dangerous threat in the Outer Rim. We've had some Dr. Pershing scenes on Coruscant. There is clearly a storyline that involves Coruscant, that involves the New Republic, that involves Carson Teva and Dr. Pershing, and cloning and all that stuff. But we haven't been introduced to that yet. Now, it's only been 2 episodes, but the season's only 8 episodes. So technically, we're already, 1/4 of the way through the show? Which is kind of actually like really sad because we're already 1/4 of the way through the show. But when are we going to be introduced into this other storyline that's going on that is the New Republic and the Coruscant stuff and Carson Teva and all that other stuff? When is that going to happen? When are we going to get any of that? I think it's in this next episode. At least it's going to be introduced in this next episode by giving us Coruscant. Now, Coruscant. Have I said Coruscant enough times? Coruscant is the main planet of Star Wars, if you want to call it that. It's the capital of the Republic. It then becomes the capital of the Empire, and then becomes, for at least a little while, the capital of the New Republic, because the capital of the New Republic does move. In the sequels, it is what is it? Kasnian Prime? Or Hosnian Prime. It's Hosnian Prime. That is the name of the capital in the sequel trilogy. That's what the Star Killer base just destroys. But Coruscant, okay? For a while, I do believe it is the capital for the New Republic because that's where the Empire is out of. That's where the Senate building is. That's where all the stuff is. So we were talking about this a little bit in shout out to the Discord. There is a Discord in the link in the description below. There's a link to this Discord called The People Who Love Star Wars. Go check out that Discord. We talk a lot about some Star Wars stuff in there. Okay. So we were talking about it in the Discord yesterday. Or maybe it was even today. I don't remember. Okay. But that Coruscant. Okay, so there's Order 66 flashbacks. We know that's happening. It's in the trailer. Order 66 flashbacks of Grogu in the Jedi Temple. We know that's coming. But what will trigger the flashbacks? We know the first time we got Order 66 flashbacks, it was from Luke Skywalker placing his hand on Grogu's head, right? And he was just like, remember. And he was like, okay. And he remembers freaking Order 66 flashbacks. Okay? Doesn't really get much cooler than that. It really doesn't. But yeah. So what is going to trigger the flashbacks next? Possibly a trip to Coruscant? Possibly maybe somebody by the name of Princess Leia Organa? Solo? Hyphen? What even is her name? But like what do we think? What do we think? Badger says Mando is better. The Mandalorian is the best George Lucas style Star Wars, and it brought me and so many back to Star Wars. It's true. The Mandalorian brought so many people back to Star Wars after the sequel trilogy kind of drew a lot of people away. The sequel trilogy was like, whether you loved it or you hated it, it really caused a huge divide in the fan base. When you watch The Mandalorian, there really is no divide. There's nobody out there saying, The Mandalorian sucks, The Mandalorian's so bad. There's nobody saying that because they look stupid. They look really dumb. So there's nobody really saying that because there's no denying that The Mandalorian is good. And that's what Star Wars lacks. It's just straight fire. That's what it lacks. It lacks things that people can't complain about. And the sequel trilogy is clearly something that a lot of people can complain about. But The Mandalorian is not. So people can complain about The Bad Batch because they can say, oh, it's animated, it's made for kids, Omega. But when it comes to The Mandalorian, people are not complaining because they can't. They physically can't. Mr. Sean 2000 chimes in and says, Bad Batch is fire right now. Just some average episodes a couple weeks ago. Yeah, so although The Bad Batch is fire right now, you have to remember that just a short while ago, there was 10 other episodes that weren't that good. We sat here week after week after week saying, okay, what next? There's no plot to this show. What are we waiting for? What's going on in The Bad Batch? How are we going to predict the next episode when there was literally nothing in the last episode to get us hyped for the next episode? But now it has been straight fire, as Mr. Sean 2000 points out. And he's completely correct because it is. And I think it will be for the remainder of the season. But you have to remember that the first half of the season was not that good. Just throwing that out there. Just throwing it out there. Badger says, but yes, the past 2 weeks of the Bad Batch have been better, but the Mythosaur trumps. Yeah, so the Mythosaur literally, like, just take the 2 weeks of the Bad Batch and then put them up against the Mythosaur wins all day long. So just seeing the Mythosaur in The Mandalorian in live action was better than the last 2 episodes of the Bad Batch. In my opinion, which we know is fact. Of course, we know is fact. At this point, we know. Star Wars Politics chimes in and says, why would Grogu go back to the temple, though? So that's a good question. Why would Grogu go back to the Jedi Temple? Now, what if, here's my theory as of right now. Carson Teva has had many encounters with Din Djarin. In the first season, is it the first season? Is he in the first season? I don't think he's in the first season. Is he in the first season? Somebody tell me, is Carson Teva in the first season? I know for a fact in the second season, in the Frog Lady episode, when he gets trapped on the ice planet, he comes and saves him. They have a conversation about how he is this Mandalorian bounty hunter, blah, 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 and he lets him off the hook. Then in the Book of Boba Fett, he sees him again with his N1 starfighter, lets him off the hook, or he kind of just speeds away from him. Carson Teva and Din Djarin kind of have this kind of connection. Not like a friendship, but he is his New Republic connection. And what if Carson Teva, who's trying to find this danger or this threat that's looming in the Outer Rim, comes to Din Djarin and says, we need you to come back to Coruscant. Or Grogu is the key to everything. Carson Teva somehow knows about Grogu. Something along those lines. And that would just draw them straight back to Coruscant. It would bring Din and Grogu to Coruscant. We talked about this, I don't know if any of you guys remember this, in a stream like months and months ago. I think even when the Andor show was still coming out. That I might have made a full video on it even too. That Din and Grogu were going to be on Coruscant. They were going to be on Coruscant. Now this leaked a long, long time ago. That they were going to be on Coruscant. And when the leak came out, I thought it would be a destroyed Coruscant. We don't know what Coruscant looks like at the time. It's not really supposed to be the capital of the New Republic, but maybe they'll change that. But yeah, that's what I thought was going on. I thought we were going to get a destroyed Coruscant with Grogu and Din walking through the streets, which would have been so cool. But it doesn't seem like that's the case. We're going to get a full-blown New Republic capital Coruscant, which will be cool. Mr. Sean says, yeah, exploring Mandalore was awesome, but the stuff going on with Crosshair was also awesome. Yes, both are awesome. You can't deny that. They're both awesome. And that's what's cool. What's cool is we got 2 Star Wars shows coming out at the same time. I know they're coming out on the same day. It's really, 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 really dumb. We won't get heated about that again. Why do they come out at the same day? Why did they come out at the same day at the same time? What are we doing? Okay, no, we won't get upset. I'm not getting upset. But we have 2 Star Wars shows coming out at the same time, and they're both awesome. This is the perfect time, the best time. It's a great time to be a Star Wars fan. That's what we want. We want good Star Wars content. And we're getting 2 shows of it right now. Now, of course, the Bad Batch had a slow, rocky start. But the last 2 episodes of it have been fire, and the first 2 episodes of The Mandalorian Season 3 have been fire. So it's great. It's a great time to be a Star Wars fan. Mr. Sean 2000 follows up and says, nah, not all 10. What? Not all 10. Just the arc where they lost their ship. Oh, you mean the first 10 episodes of The Bad Batch? Yeah, so there were some good episodes in there. When Palpatine has his speech, those 2 episodes were very good. The one with Commander Cody was very, very good. There are some good episodes in there, but a lot of them were filler, which is, not what we want to see. And now, since The Mandalorian has come out, it seems like The Bad Batch has stepped up its game, and now we're getting 2 straight fire shows. Badger says, there has to be something on Coruscant that draws Dr. Pershing, Mando, and Grogu to Coruscant. Maybe for help because Pershing was friendly to Grogu, and then of course we'll get a fight or a conflict. Yeah, so Dr. Pershing isn't a bad guy. He's just a doctor hired by the Empire and probably at gunpoint to do this job, to work on Grogu. He's doing it against his own free will. But now the New Republic has Dr. Pershing. The New Republic has Dr. Pershing, so he can be a good guy now. He never was really a evil dude, an evil scientist. He was just being forced to do it by the Empire. So it wasn't really his fault. So maybe we'll get some good guy Dr. Pershing in this 3rd season. I had to clear my throat, sorry. Star Wars Politics chimes back in and says, on the way back to Navarro, or the Armorer, he could stop Mando and make him go to Coruscant. Carson Teva. He could stop Mando and make him go to Coruscant to talk. He kind of has been on Din's trail the entire time. Din knows a lot. Yeah, clearly Carson Teva and Din have this relationship. Like, they know each other. He's his connection. He's a connection to the New Republic. So maybe he brings him into Coruscant, like you said, on his way back to Navarro. Here's why I think, if we're not going to Coruscant this episode, I think we're definitely going back to Navarro, because there's so many scenes in the trailers that we got on Navarro of pirates that we saw in the first episode. Pirates versus Mandalorian. Now, it's the same Mandalorian that Bo-Katan had that left her, but those Mandalorian are fighting pirates on Navarro. So we're definitely going back to Navarro at some point in the season. Just who knows if it's going to be episode 3 or episode 4 or episode 5. We don't really know for sure. We don't know. But we know Din, Grogu, Dr. Pershing are all on Coruscant at the same time, and we are getting Order 66 flashbacks. So yes, what we know from the trailers for facts is that Coruscant's coming. Dr. Pershing is on Coruscant. We know that Carson Teva is talking to somebody significant on Coruscant, possibly Mon Mothma, possibly Leia Organa. And where there's Leia Organa, there's Han Solo and Ben Solo, which, don't even get me started. That just gets, just the idea of seeing Leia, Han, and a young Ben Solo. Calm down. Okay. But yeah, we know that Coruscant's coming. We know that there's going to be Order 66 flashbacks, and someone has to trigger those flashbacks, like Luke did in the Book of Boba Fett. Maybe Leia Organa touches Grogu's head. Imagine. Close your eyes and imagine, okay? Close your eyes. Ready? Grogu at the Jedi Temple with Leia frickin' Organa. She puts her hand on his head, and he gets another Order 66 flashback. So it's the exact same thing, like in the Book of Boba Fett, where Luke touches his head and sees Order 66, but now Leia does at the Jedi Temple on Coruscant. Does it get any cooler than that? Oh my God. Everybody calm down. My God, that would be so cool. Somebody please make that happen. Jeez, hang on. Okay. Star Wars Politics says they could simply just fly to the temple too. Yeah, that is possible. We know Grogu's been to the Jedi Temple. We know he grew up there, all that stuff. Maybe Mando's like, hey, let's go visit your old stomping grounds. Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. Yes, Bad Batch and Mando are at the same time. Star Wars following the rule of 2, and it works. Yes, Badger, you are completely correct. The rule of 2, it works. Except it doesn't. It's stupid. It's so dumb that you have to wait till 3 a.m. on a Wednesday to watch The Mandalorian, and then what do you have to do? Oh yeah, you have to watch that first, and watch The Bad Batch on the same freaking day. It's so stupid! It's so dumb. It gets me so heated. It literally makes me... It's so dumb. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. It is so dumb. It's so dumb. Like, just put it out at like 8 o'clock on a Friday or something normal, and spread out the 2 shows. Here's my concern. If the Ahsoka show comes out in what we'll talk about in a little bit, it's rumored to come out in like July or August. That means The Mandalorian ends in April. That means you have the rest of April, May, June, and maybe July. And if it comes out in August, 4 months of nothing. 4 months of no Star Wars content, and you overlapped 2 shows? What are we doing? What are we doing? We're trying to stay positive here. We're staying positive, okay? It's just dumb. It's really dumb, and they need to fix it. But who knows? Kathleen Kennedy might be gone by July, so who knows? Who knows? Maybe something might be fixed. Something might be fixed. Mr. and Mrs. Sean says, maybe to help capture an escaped Moff Gideon, who could be held on a prison on Coruscant. That's true. So Moff Gideon is rumored to escape the prison that he's in, the New Republic prison, and he's supposed to come back, get some sick black and red Mandalorian armor that looks like Maul's Mandalorian armor, which is awesome. But as of right now, we've seen none of that. So yeah, it is a possibility that maybe just the word of Moff Gideon being like escaped brings Din and Grogu to Coruscant. So maybe they're like on their way to see the armor or something, and they get word that Moff Gideon has escaped. It would be cool. It would be cool. Would be cool. Since he's on trial, maybe he just breaks out while in transport. It's very possible. So the Empire is a lot more powerful than people believe. And Carson Teva seems to be the only one in the New Republic that even has an inkling of an idea of what is actually going on here. He's the only one that sees this threat in the Outer Rim, and it is the Empire. It's the remnant of the Empire, but it's soon to become the First Order, being ruled by Snoke and Palpatine in the background. It's Palpatine's contingency plan. And Moff Gideon's heavily involved in it. He knows all there is to know about it. He's the one who has to keep the contingency plan going and creating the First Order, because at some point this all does lead to the sequel trilogy. And I know that makes some fans upset. They don't like the sequels, but it's gonna happen. And I think it will only make the sequel trilogy better. It'll make the character of Snoke better. I'm actually working on a video right now about Snoke possibly appearing in this 3rd season, which would be absolutely freaking wild. Because Snoke has to have some sort of buildup of power. Think about it. He just shows up in the sequel trilogy and he's the supreme leader. You have to kind of get to that spot. And he can't just pop up out of nowhere and then be like, yeah, I'm your leader now. I'm the supreme leader now. You must obey everything I say. That's not going to happen. So Snoke has to, at some point within these next 10 to 15-ish years, has to show up and rule. He has to come in and actually be badass. And here's the thing. When we see Snoke in the sequel trilogy, he's all scarred and mangled and all that stuff. But that's because of Luke frickin' Skywalker. So, again, we're getting completely off topic. But what if we get Luke versus Snoke, a younger version of Snoke, a more healthy-looking version of Snoke, a more powerful version of Snoke, and maybe Luke's DNA or something along those lines is what creates Snoke, his midichlorians, I should say. His and Grogu's maybe a combination of the two, and that's why Luke has to cut himself off from the Force, go into hiding, all that stuff. It's going to be a really long video because that's a whole lot to go over, but yeah, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. Okay. Mind-blowing theory, and I agree. I think we'll definitely see Leia. Especially with the rumor of a Han, Leia, and Luke show. It's yeah, very true, very, very true. There is rumors of a series of short films on Disney Plus following Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, and Leia Organa, which is going to be. It could be like the next couple of years for Star Wars. Just could be straight fire, just like absolute straight fire. And I can't wait. I literally cannot wait. I can't. Badger says, and what if, when Leia touches Grogu, she sees a Force vision of Order 66 and can see her father slaying younglings through Grogu's perspective? Yo, okay. Like, this is the stuff that we want to see. Leia Organa being able to see Darth Vader, or her father, slicing and dicing, yes, I said it again, Star Wars politics, slicing and dicing younglings. How sick is that? Through Grogu's perspective. And we'll probably get to see, finally, after freaking years, who actually saves Grogu from the Jedi Temple, and it's got to be Mace Windu. Just kidding, maybe. Who knows, maybe. Star Wars Politics says, can you imagine the hype if it was released on Friday nights? That's what I'm saying. Nobody is hyped on a Wednesday at 3 in the morning? Nobody's even awake at that time. Why are we releasing a show when nobody is awake? What are we doing? Whose idea was that? And why are they not fired? And it's just dumb. It's very dumb. It's very dumb. Mr. Sean says, don't forget making of Mando episodes. And maybe shadow drop on May 4th. What? Oh, don't forget the making of the Mando episodes? Oh, you mean like in that 4-month time gap? Yeah. So there are some stuff. There's Visions, season 2. There's the tales or the adventures of young Jedi in the High Republic, like a kids show or something along those lines. But like actual shows that run weekly, there's none. There's none. None at all. Star Wars Politics says, yeah, and the New Republic knows who he is. He's not a secret. He could be, that could be the Luke, Leia, and Han show, though. It's true. It could be. It could be. What if, okay, Badger, this is what I like to hear. This is what I like to hear. What if Luke's hand, the one that was chopped off in episode 5, on frickin' Cloud City, on Bespin, what if his hand, the DNA was taken from the Bad Batch, and that makes Snoke? That's why the Empire is after Omega in the Bad Batch. The Empire is after Grogu in the failed attempts that we'll see unfold in The Mandalorian. So what he's saying is that it's a combination of Luke Skywalker's freaking hand from episode 5, Omega, Grogu, and probably a Zillo Beast at this point. Like, let's be real. Is what those 4 things create Supreme Leader Snoke. That would be wild. That would be awesome. Badger says, good point, Star Wars Politics. If they dropped Mando on Friday around like 7:30 or 8 even, we would see viewers increase dramatically. Yes, you are completely right. Viewers would skyrocket, literally just skyrocket. Nobody is watching it at 3 a.m. Literally, like, I did a watch party the first week, and I haven't done a watch party since. I'm not doing a watch party tonight because I want to sleep. I want to sleep. As much as I want to watch The Mandalorian, I like sleep as well, okay? Sleep. It's great. Ever heard of it? Sleep. I love it, okay? And I'm sure you do too. And that's why you're not going to stay up till 3 a.m. to watch the episode. Like most normal people, you'll just wake up early tomorrow and watch the episode. But I don't know. That might just be me. That might just be me. Might just be me. We do have some other news to get to here. We can, of course, keep speculating about this next episode and, of course, the rest of the season and the Bad Batch and whatever we want to talk about, because it's a live stream and it's my live stream and I get to decide what we talk about. And it's going to be Star Wars. I don't know why I said that like I was so mad. I don't know. You like my mug? Dun, 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 dun. Wait, no, we'll get copyrighted. Can't do that. After season 1 and season 2 of staying up at 3 a.m., I fell into waiting for the next day for the episode 1 to drop in season 3. It is horrible. Yeah, you're right. Like, I would love to stay up till 3 a.m., but why would I do that? It's dumb. It's really dumb. It's really, really dumb. It's really dumb. Okay, we do have some other cool news. So this one is involving merchandise from The Mandalorian Season 3, possibly spoiling a return of 2 key characters. Possible spoiler alert. 4 years after the release of The Mandalorian, blah, 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 blah. Okay, merch reveals returning characters. Even though the Walt Disney Company is cracking down on online leaks in a major way. There have been... Sorry. Anybody watch How I Met Your Mother? Okay, we're getting way too off topic. Major way. There may have been an oversight. The new Mandalorian merchandise teased is in inclusion of 2 important characters. So this is the merchandise. It's the one that we laughed about for a very, very long time of Grief Karga's gigantic forehead. we literally laughed for like 20 minutes about a few weeks ago about his enormous forehead, because like Bo-Katan's forehead's kind of big there, Pelimoto is like kind of normal there, but they made Grief Karga just have the largest forehead of all time, and it is hilarious. But there is 2 characters in here that noticeably aren't in the show. So last month, Lucasfilm released a first look at merchandise for the 3rd season of the landmark Star Wars show. A set of bag clips. These are bag clips, okay? Bag clips from that fans can collect. Each packet. Each packet contains one mystery character of in the form of a adorable. All right, please tell me if you think that Grief Karga looks adorable. Anybody? Didn't think so. Okay, adorable foam bag clip. Well, most of the characters, like Grief Karga, again, calling him out for his giant forehead, and Pelimoto, feature early in the season. However, 2 characters yet to reappear in the series are available: Koska Reeves and Axe Wolf. So these are the people that were with Bo-Katan in the 2nd season. So this is Koska Reeves. Yeah, Koska Reeves. Axel Wolf, played by Simon Kassabs, blah, 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 blah. That's his name, real name. Appears in the blue and dark gray Mandalorian armor. Axel Wolf debut in Chapter 11 of the series, The Heiress, alongside Bo-Katan. And, well, the collectible I can't read English today. I don't know what it is. Collectible bag clip spoils his return in season 3. It's not surprising, like it says right here. It's not surprising that this guy's coming back, but you know it kind of is. Last year, just call him by his first name. Why like he's got a stupid last name? Why what's his first name? Simon. Last year, Simon. Was that so hard to type? Was that so hard? Simon was spotted on the set of The Mandalorian, and with Bo-Katan already playing a crucial role in Season 3, it's not surprising that her group of Mandalorians will also play a role. So Koska Reeves, is this not the same exact picture? Hang on. That and that. That's the exact same picture. Okay, whatever. So she was spotted as well. Okay. Unlike Wolf's, her return wasn't expected, as her WWE star turned actress Sasha Banks recently disappointed fans by claiming she was not in the next season. First of all, thanks for trying to get that out there, but I am not in the next season. Liar. Somebody cue the Anakin Skywalker saying liar on Mustafar in the chat, please. However, Banks may have lied. Yeah, you think? So as to not spoil Season 3, given how much the actress enjoyed her time on The Mandalorian, citing that it was the best feeling of all time. Her return makes a lot of sense. Yeah, so let's be real. They're coming back. And we know it. We might actually see them in the trailer. I could be wrong. Yeah, we don't have to read the rest of that. We might actually see them in the trailer. They might be involved. They might be some of those Mandalorian that are attacking the pirates on Navarro. Can anybody go find that out for me? Anybody? Because that would be perfect. Star Wars Politics says, I can't help but get up at 3 a.m. Star Wars Politics, you're watching it at 3 a.m. Badger says they did him so wrong. Yeah, you're completely right. Yes, Koska confirmed she played by former WWE diva Sasha Banks and was spotted at the premiere of The Mandalorian in photos alongside Rosario Dawson, who plays Ahsoka. Yeah, but they could have just been at the premiere because they were in the seasons before that. That could just be the case where they're just there because they can be. And they don't want to miss a red carpet, you know? But no, I definitely think they're in this season. What do we think about Ahsoka Tano, though? Let's start a new poll. Let's start a new poll because that one was an easy one. Actually, hang on. Wow. 20% of you thought that the Bad Batch was better. Wow. Mr. and Mrs. Sean said they invited Marvel actors to the premiere too. Yeah, they did. Indeed, they did. Indeed, they did. Do you think we will see Ahsoka in Mando season 3? Whoops, not 2, 3. Yes or no? Do you think we'll see Ahsoka in Mando season 3? What do we think? Because she's obviously getting her own show later in the year, but how is she going to be involved or even tied to this story? Think about it. It's Mando, Din, and Bo going to Mandalore, finding a mythosaur, getting the Mandalorian people back together, and maybe fighting Moff Gideon again if he breaks out of prison. Where does Ahsoka fall into that? And I know a lot of people are going to vote yes on this, that Ahsoka is going to be in the 3rd season, but where would she come in? I think there's only one connection that Ahsoka could be involved with, and that is, why did I just completely blank on her name? Oh, Sabine Ren. Sabine Ren could be in this season, and that could be the tie to Ahsoka, because we know that Sabine and Ahsoka are supposed to be out looking for Ezra Bridger right now. Actually, we don't really know that because Ahsoka was by herself when we saw her in the Book of Boba Fett and The Mandalorian season 2. So we actually don't know that for a fact, but we know that Sabine Wren is confirmed, already cast Natalie Bordizzo or something like that for the Ahsoka show, and she was cast a long time before the Ahsoka show was set to start production and stuff. So I think that Sabine will definitely be in this season, but it's more of a will Ahsoka be in this season? Star Wars Politics says, we debate this every week and still we don't know the answer. It's true, we just don't. This is why Star Wars is better than Marvel, though. You just can't help but always theorize and speculate. This is true. You can speculate about Marvel a little bit, but it's more like Marvel's a different beast. Marvel's kind of just like, you're there for the ride, and you can kind of like get hyped about it. You can kind of speculate and go over leaks and rumors. But it is a lot harder to like predict what's going to happen next, because Kevin Feige likes to throw like curveballs all the time. And not that Star Wars doesn't, but it's a completely different thing. It's a completely different thing. I think the better connection with Ahsoka is Bo-Katan. How did Bo know where Ahsoka was in season 2? That's very true. How did Ahsoka know where Bo-Katan was in season 2 of The Mandalorian? Whew, that's a tough one. I don't know. Maybe it'll get explained. Maybe it will. I just poured water on myself. Great. We could see Ahsoka on Coruscant. Wow, that would be so cool. Probably as she left the Book of Boba Fett to find Ezra. So maybe she went to Coruscant to look for some clues on where Ezra is. Possibly bumps into possibly bumped into T words. Oh, towards the end of the season. Towards the end of the season, in order to set up the Ahsoka show, if it takes place right after the Book of Boba Fett and before The Mandalorian season 3. True, that's possible. Imagine Ahsoka on Coruscant. I mean, she just was there in the Book of Boba Fett at Luke's Jedi Temple just because it was awesome, and she said, so much like your father, and then they went and did something off screen that we don't talk about, Luke Ahsoka for life, but then she's just there. She's just there to be there. She's just there to say that she was at Luke Skywalker's Jedi Temple and talked to him about his father, and then she leaves. So what if she's just there again on Coruscant talking to Leia about her father? And she says, so much like your father again. What if Ahsoka's whole job is to just go around telling Skywalkers that they look exactly, or not look exactly, that they act exactly like their father? Now that would be cool. I'm not opposed to that. I am definitely not opposed to that. However, we do have some other news to get into here. Star Wars Politics says, will I ever see you again? Meet me in 5 minutes without the child. Oh my. What has this come to? What has this come to? Is Luke Soka a real thing? Yeah, she was at Luke's Jedi Temple out of the blue. Or was it in the blue? Was it in the blue? Badger, was it in the blue? Jesus. Oh, God. Luke Soka for life. Luke Soka for life. Let's not talk. Oh, okay. Well, now we have to talk about it because that's the topic we're on now here. Bo and Din Djarin. Is there a romantic relationship there? Let's pull it up. You know what? This is the stream of many polls, okay? This is the stream of polls. And yes, wow, the majority of you think that we'll see Ahsoka. Are Bo and Din going to be romantically involved? Why is romantically capitalized? I don't know. Yes or no? Grogu needs some siblings. Oh no. Oh no. Grogu needs some parents. That's what he needs. Will Din and Grogu. Will Din and Bo be romantically involved? Because they kind of were hinting at this back in the second episode. They were hinting at Bo and Din maybe getting a little. Bo is kind of old though, no? Yeah, true, but we don't know how old Din Djarin is really. They're probably she's probably a little bit older than him, but not by much. Bo Din for life. There's not the Jedi Council. Baby Dinbo? What? You lost me there. Bo Din for life. Yeah, what was the name we came up with in the Discord? Oh yeah, there's a Discord. I already said this, but I'm saying it again. There's a link in the description below to a Discord called The People Who Love Star Wars. So if you want to talk some Star Wars with some Star Wars nerdy people, there's a link in the description below to a Discord called The People Who Love Star Wars. Go check it out. Yeah, so what did we come up with? It was Bo Din, and it was Bo-Katan, Kadarin. That's their ship name. Like Luke Soka. Kadarin. Oh, yes. There's no Jedi Council. They can get together. Baby Dinbo. Katarin. Yes, perfect. Okay. Okay. So, we have some Acolyte news. Let's get away from all that weird stuff. We got some Acolyte news. So the Acolyte show, which we haven't even gotten the first season for, is already confirmed to have multiple seasons. So the Acolyte show really gets me excited. It is before The Phantom Menace, so it's the first thing we're going to get in live action that takes place before the prequel trilogy. And it's going to take place a lot, like 100 years before the prequel trilogy. I think it was actually like 250 years. Or maybe that's just the New Republic. I don't know. Something along those lines. It's a long time before the prequel trilogy. It's supposed to have Acolytes of the Sith and new High Republic Jedi. And it's just going to have this huge, awesome, like Sith-centered show, and it's going to be cool. And I really hope it involves Darth Plagueis. I hope it involves Plagueis' master, and I hope it's just awesome. And the fact that it's going to run for multiple seasons could involve a young freaking Palpatine, which would be so unbelievably cool. That would be just so cool. All right, so let's read this thing. This is coming from Galactic Transmission over on Instagram. But here's what's happening. Multiple seasons for the Acolyte show are planned. So this kind of came up when they got sued. Lucasfilm got sued by somebody they hired to do some work on the Acolyte show. So according to information attached to a recent lawsuit, Star Wars The Acolyte story arc has set to span multiple seasons. The lawsuit, which had seen producer Kyron McCarthy file for breach of contract against Lucasfilm, including the following note. McCarthy accepted Lucasfilm's offer in part because Lucasfilm had assured her that the story arc of the show, as well as the company's business plans, called The Acolyte to run for multiple seasons. McCarthy, who was courted by Disney to join The Acolyte, was recently removed from the production 2 weeks before before being hired without reason or justification. Hence the lawsuit. So yeah, blah 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 blah. Yeah, 100 years before Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Yeah, so that's what's gonna happen. So it's already confirmed for multiple seasons, at least 2, if not 3 and 4. And maybe they do it like The Mandalorian, where they just feel it out. If it's good, it's good. And if it's good, it's going to get multiple seasons. Now here's the problem. Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni aren't really involved in this show. So this show being like successful would be a great thing for Star Wars. It would be so good for Star Wars because Jon and Dave aren't attached to it. Now I know I'm the biggest Jon and Dave fan there are, and they are so good when it comes to The Mandalorian. The Ahsoka show hopefully is going to be absolutely insane. And of course everything Dave touches turns to gold. But they're not involved in the Acolyte show. So if the Acolyte show succeeds, this means that the future for Star Wars is looking very, very bright because it's not being touched by Jon and Dave. And I'm sure Dave Filoni kind of has his feelers on it, but it's not like being produced by them. It's not being written by them. It's just somebody else, which hopefully could be good. Now, here's my thing. When I read this article and read this news report, I should say, here's my thing. All right. Star Wars is at a weird spot, and it actually came up when somebody I was talking to, one of my friends who's like a more casual Star Wars fan, likes to watch the shows and stuff like that. He was asking me, when does The Mandalorian take place? And I was like, okay, that's the stupidest question I ever heard. And then I thought about it. It's not really. If you're not a Star Wars fan like we are, and I'm sure if you're watching this video, you are probably a pretty big Star Wars nerd. If you're not a huge Star Wars nerd like we are, then Star Wars is kind of at a complicated spot. Think about it. The Mandalorian's coming out right now that takes place in between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens. Then you had the Andor show and the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, which took place in between the Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, but at different points in time. And then you had... now you're going to have the Acolyte show, which takes place before the prequel trilogy, 100 years before. And then the next Star Wars movie, which is set to be a Lindelof movie, which is set to be a post-sequel trilogy movie. So now you have post-sequel content in between the original trilogy and sequel trilogy content, in between the prequel trilogy and the original trilogy content, and before the prequel trilogy content. So even just saying that, knowing what it all means, I know when all this takes place, I know when all that stuff goes on, even just saying all that stuff made my brain kind of go, what the heck was that? It's kind of a difficult time to be a Star Wars fan if you're just a normal Star Wars fan. It's kind of like Marvel and the multiverse. Explaining the multiverse to normal people is a hard thing to do. But with Star Wars, it's just, we're all over the place. We're past the sequels. We're before the sequels. We're before the original trilogy. We're before the prequel trilogy. All at the same time, which is confusing to some people. You know? I don't know. Is that just me? Is that just me? Or like, is that just a little bit crazy? A little bit crazy. A little bit crazy. And then you talk about, like Badger says here, so basically a KOTOR era type live action show. No, but you're talking about KOTOR, the Old Republic. If they go to the Old Republic with the Taika Waititi movie or even shows in general, Darth Revan, all that stuff, if we get Old Republic stuff, now you're talking about thousands of years before the prequel trilogy. You're talking about a completely different time in Star Wars, and then you're going to continue to make content around the Skywalker saga, and it'll just make just normal fans just go like their minds will just explode. Yeah. It's confusing when you think about it that way. But I mean, we're just so used to it at this point because The Mandalorian takes place where it does. We just had the Andor show and the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. The Bad Batch is taking place in a different spot in time. It's all over the place. It really, really is. But for normal fans, it might be a problem. It might be a problem for Lucasfilm coming up because they have to explain it better. They have to. What they should do is before every single episode of anything they do is have like a Star Wars timeline being like where this takes place. Something along those lines would be good because even when it says like, 10 BBY or something, like the Andor show I think starts with 5 BBY. Casual fans don't know what BBY stands for. They don't know that it's the Battle of Yavin. Like it's interesting. It's interesting. Interesting. Star Wars Politics says, I'm pessimistic about this. The Acolyte show? Really? Why? Why so negative about the Acolyte show? Okay. So Acolyte will take place between episode 1 and what? No, it's before episode 1. 100 years before episode 1. Yes, I think Star Wars is all over the place in the timeline. It is. No, the Acolyte takes place 100 years before The Phantom Menace, before episode 1. Yes. Yes, it does. 100 years before. So the New Republic, is anybody reading? I mean, the High Republic. It's all called the Republic. You got the Republic, you got the New Republic, you got the High Republic. Like, just... Yeah. Now, anybody reading the High Republic in here? I got one of the books behind me here. I think it's the first one. Light of the Jedi. Light of the Jedi. It's not bad. I mean, the story is good, but it's just like novels. It's only novels, and there's no sign of any live action thing coming anytime soon. Star Wars Politics says, I'm pessimistic about the Acolyte show because name me one project without John and Dave that has been largely successful for Star Wars in the past 5 years besides Rogue One, which is borderline bad. What? No. Did you just say that Rogue One is borderline bad? No. Take it back. But I agree with you. Other than your stupid comment about Rogue One, yeah, most stuff that hasn't been touched by John and Dave has not been successful, or largely successful, whatever you want to call successful. Andor fans are shouting, it wasn't successful. It wasn't. If you think Andor was good for you. I think it was all right. It was good. But if you're sitting there like, it was the greatest thing ever, it was the most successful thing for Star Wars, it wasn't. Nobody watched that show. Like, nobody. It had such low views, like it wasn't even close. So yeah, you're completely right. Star Wars Visions was great. Honey Badger says, yes, it was. It was. Except for half the episodes. You watch episode 1, it's like Ronin, it's like, oh my god, this is so good. And then you watch episode 2 and you're like, what the frick was that? Tales of the Jedi. Yes, Tales of the Jedi. Tales of the Jedi could be the best thing that Disney Star Wars has created. Possibly. You gotta let me think about that. Mando Season 2. Mando Season 2 is the best thing that Star Wars. That's tough. Tales of the Jedi is a masterpiece. Yes, I'll give you that. Tales of the Jedi is a masterpiece. And I really hope we get more seasons of that, or even some Tales of the Sith. I mean, I know I've seen a ton of people wanting Tales of the Sith. It would be insane. It would be insanity. It would be so good. So good. So good. Bam, bam. No, we don't want to get that. Fair. Tales of the Jedi standout episodes. Ahsoka versus Dookus. Oh, versus and Dookus. Standout episodes. Ahsoka and Dookus. Good old Dookus. From now on, Count Dooku is referred to as Count Dookus. Okay. Don't get it wrong. Okay. We do have some other news to get to here, so let's stop getting distracted. Okay, so we might be getting a cool Lego set. Anybody a Lego fiend like me? We got Legos behind us. Oh, you can't even see the Legos. What the heck? We got Darth Vader. Dun dun. We got like the head for Darth Vader. And then we got Boba Fett. So there's going to be some more. Whoa. Don't break Darth Vader. So this is coming from The Mandalorian Season 3. A Lego set from The Mandalorian Season 3. So it's going to be $50. Gosh darn, 45 actually. But it's going to be the set that involves Bo-Katan with the Darksaber and the, what do we call him? Spider creepy alien robot looking thing? Yeah. Spider creepy alien robot looking thing is going to be a Lego set, which is awesome. Anybody else like get Grievous vibes from this guy? like General Grievous. Anybody else get Grievous vibes? He like walked like him, kind of breathed like him. All you had to do was add George Lucas's cough and it would have been Grievous. Have they released Din's ship yet? Yeah. No, the N1 Starfighter's out and the Razor Crest is out. The Razor Crest is funny because they literally released it after it got destroyed. So, yeah. Oh, is this what it looks like? That's dumb. Don't buy this. Don't do it. This for $45? No thanks. Actually, it's worth it because of the bow and Din and Grogu, but that's dumb. The Darksaber actually looks kind of cool. Okay. Let's keep going because there is other news. This is just Legos. There is a hang on. Okay. Hang on. Okay, so here's the viewership numbers. We've got some viewership numbers for the Mandalorian premiere. And it's kind of not good news. So the Mandalorian Season 3 suffers weak premiere viewership. Weak. So here's what happened. Well, you want to know what happened? It's by the name of Andor. And it kind of just threw a lot of Star Wars fans off, and of course, they took 2 years off, but nobody wanted to come back and watch The Mandalorian Season 3. But here's what happened. According to The Wrap, what a great name, The Wrap, which shared data collected by Samba, another great name, Samba TV. The Mandalorian Season 3 premiere had a relatively weak performance in comparison to some of the other Star Wars Disney Plus series. Although the viewership exceeded the recent Andor by a close 50%. Yeah, there you go, Andor fans. Everybody watched that show. The week premiere from The Mandalorian was 50% more than the frickin' Andor show. It still trailed behind The Mandalorian and The Book of Boba Fett by 28% and 2% respectively, while also falling short of Marvel's Loki premiere by 35%, which is the biggest premiere, I believe. As shared by Samba TV, the first episode of Ewan McGregor's Jedi spin-off was viewed by 2.14 million U.S. households in the first 4 days. Meanwhile, the debut of The Mandalorian Season 2 and The Book of Boba Fett were watched by 2.08 million and 1.5 million households, respectively. The data would seem to indicate that Season 3 Episode 1 was viewed by just under 1.5 million households. So that ties The Book of Boba Fett and is a lot less than Mando Season 2, like 500,000, and a lot less than even the Kenobi show as well. So the disappointment comes after the original trailer for Season 3 overtook the Obi-Wan Kenobi show to become easily the highest viewed trailer of a Disney Plus series in the galaxy far, far away. So yes, the Mandalorian trailer was viewed a lot, like more than any other Star Wars trailer for any Star Wars Disney Plus show. But the premiere did not at all really show that, because it was a lot less than the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. Samba TV collects its viewership data from a panel of over 3 million households across 25 million TVs. It's a lot of millions. But to put that into perspective, The Last of Us, which was just ended. Anybody watch The Last of Us? Great show. The Last of Us, which just ended. The premiere of that had 4 million. Double the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. Almost 4 times this show. Like Disney Plus numbers are so low. And maybe, just maybe, it's because it comes out on a Wednesday at 3 a.m. But it's also probably because that's it. That's why. I mean, Star Wars is bigger than the freaking Last of Us. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. And they try to explain it, but yeah. No. Why? All right. I got one more news story, and then we're probably going to get on out of here after we can talk a little bit more in the chat after we do this. But one more article regarding the Ahsoka show. So again, we got actually real quick before we talk about the Ahsoka show thing, we're gonna pull this up. So the Bad Batch season 2 has a connection to the Mandalorian. So it is when Crosshair is in the Crosshair is in Mount Tantus. You see this. Dun-dun. This doctor working on him has this badge on the side of him, of her, and that's the same badge. If you scroll down here a little bit, the same badge. Open this up. Boom. That Dr. Pershing has in the Mandalorian. So clearly, Dr. Pershing has a connection to Mount Tantus or just the Empire in general. But yeah, that's the connection right there. The Bad Batch and the Mandalorian connected. Confirmed. Okay, so here's my, hang on. The Ahsoka show. Star Wars live-action Thrawn cast gets unfortunate update. So this is regarding Lars Mikkelsen, who most people believe is going to play Thrawn in live action. That's Lars Mikkelsen, who voices Thrawn in Star Wars Rebels. A new interview seemingly disproves rumors that Star Wars Rebels actor Lars Mikkelsen would return as Thrawn in the upcoming Ahsoka show. Speaking with Danish outlet Streaming Guide, Mikkelsen revealed that despite rumors saying otherwise, Lucasfilm had not approached him as of yet, so it looks as though, unfortunately, it might be someone else playing Thrawn in live action. Well, this is what Mikkelsen says. Well, I've heard that, but I haven't heard anything about it yet. Then they should have approached me, but they haven't. So they must be going with somebody else, unfortunately. Now, I don't believe this for one freaking second, okay? Lars Mikkelsen is most likely going to play Thrawn in the Ahsoka show, and he's just lying straight to our freaking faces, okay? That's it. That's simple as that, okay? That's it. Let's see where that poll ended, by the way, before we get on out of here. 60% of you think that Din and Grogu will have a romantic relationship, which, yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Lars is Thrawn. Yes, Lars is going to be Thrawn. He's just lying straight to our faces. I completely agree with you, Badger, and yeah. All right, any last minute predictions for the Bad Batch for the Mando episode 3? Do we think we're going to Coruscant? Do we think we're going to see Leia? Do we think that we're going to do anything fun tomorrow? Do we think we're going to get 3 straight weeks of 2 straight fire shows? Is it possible? Is it possible? Badger says, remember when Ewan McGregor lied for 5 years about playing Obi-Wan again? Yes, true. Exactly. He's not going to come out and say, yeah, I'm Thrawn. Yeah, I'm Thrawn. Of course I'm Thrawn. No. He's going to lie to our faces. Yeah, you're completely right. Badger, you're completely right. There's no way that Lars Mikkelsen would be like, oh yeah, I'm Thrawn. Spoil it for everybody. Yeah, no, he's going to lie. Same like Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire being asked if they're going to play Spider-Man. Of course they're going to lie. Why would they spoil the freaking show or the movie? Yeah, no, 100%. 100%. All right, I'm going to get on out of here. You guys are the best. Another fantastic stream. Can't wait for those 2 episodes tomorrow. Bad Batch will be fire, and we will get more Mythazar this week. Hype for both. Hype is real for both. I completely agree with you, Badger. Thanks for coming by. I'm gonna get on out of here. Of course, go check out that Discord. Go check out that Discord in the description below. Smash that subscribe button if you haven't just yet. Smash the like button if you haven't just yet. And we will see you on Thursday for the live stream, and we're probably going to be at 8 p.m. again. 8 p.m. on Thursday. Let's talk in the Discord. Yes, we will talk in the Discord all about tomorrow's episodes in the spoiler zone, and we'll just have fun there. So yeah, if you want to keep the conversation going from this live stream, because I can't talk forever, my voice is literally gone, and I am out of water, go talk in the Discord. So I'm gonna get on out of here. You guys are the best around. So smash that like button, hit that subscribe, hit that bell so you get notified every time I post a video, and my pretty face will show up in the recommended feed of yours. And may the force be with you. Always. What a great stream. What a great stream. You guys are the best. Oh wait, we're still live? Oh, hang on. Whoa. You guys are the best. You're the best. The best. Can't wait for Mando tomorrow. Oh my god, I can't wait for Mando tomorrow. Please go to Coruscant. Please, let's go to Coruscant. Let's go to Coruscant. Let's go to Coruscant. We're going to Coruscant. We're going to Coruscant. I'm calling it right now. Coruscant, here we come. Coruscant, here we come. Okay, goodbye. Good night. Goodbye. 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 Bye. 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 Bye.